Hey. Hey you, and welcome back to Quillbriar All the Things. The first couple we looked at Leckley, or the main part of it. There was some stuff in the west you haven't seen yet, but we looked at, the part that I live in the most in Leckley. In the next one we saw the old world, so we saw Sakura and Gold Garden and Emma's Goatland and um, who have I missed? Ravenstone. Ravenstone. So we got to look at those in the one after that. We got to get up here and, oh, we haven't gotten there yet. We saw, in Quillbriar East, we saw Whitehall, the Blackthorn Manor, the desert islands where we had the various challenges, and we got way over here into Color Slides Hazelwind. We're heading west now. So starting from here, and still is a part of Leckley. Where are we here? Actually, yeah, okay, I'll start with that. Right over here in the western part of Leckley goes on to where the water starts here. But this is the archery ground. I believe this is called the Artemis Archery Complex. And this we created this to invite new people to the server, and this was a contest that we held over a period of a night or two. I think it went on for a while. But you can stand here and you shoot at various targets that get further and further away. And that was just like a little train station thing. And here you took boat rides and shot at things in there. This was a classic archery contest called a tree stand shoot, and you stood up here, and it was harder. People said it was one of the hardest ones, oddly enough, because you have targets at different heights and different, different height and different distances, and you only got one shot at each one. So that one was a little bit tough. The rail in the middle, you were riding in a rail car, and there were targets to hit along the way. It was fast, furious, and really hard to do. This one up here, you stood in various stations that you came up from behind. And there were targets in here, again, at different distances and heights, and blinking in and out, and different things were going on there to hit. Over here, you climbed up into the trees, and there was a walkway, and the targets were, down below, up through the trees. You had to find it first and then shoot at it. You got, I think, one shot each, and fireworks went off if you hit it. That was kind of fun. And then this last one, which I don't know if we even never got to because I think I was too tired to finish, but you would climb, this particular stand, and you would stand on here, and then your target was actually moving around you, and you had to, you had to hit it that way. So the Artemis Archery Complex, heaps of fun. I love it. We can always go over and practice anytime we want, or, drive around and have a good time on the rail cars because it's kind of fun. So that is, the whatever's built in the far western part of Leckley. That's as far as I've gotten so far. Now in this area over here, we saw Emma's before, and right in here was the Heroes Plaza, where the very first night opening of the server where we had the event, and there are roads going out, and in this area, Tanty and Spongy started building again very, very close to each other. I'll be honest, I think that doorway there is their marker between their countries. Now Spongy real life took over, and he went on to school and other things, and he's not on the server anymore at this point. I don't know, that could possibly change in the future. I certainly haven't taken anything down here. It's cute little stuff, and well, we'll see how that goes. I mean, it may end up being reclaimed by someone else or other bills, or I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but nobody's had time to do anything with it. But right now, this is basically, a historical ruin or something like that, which is kind of fun to have too. That's pretty cool. And Tanty built this area, and this is a wee little house he built for me. Now you're not seeing, Tanty's got some farming area, he's got some things here, and parts of it aren't showing, and I know this road up here, he's got some other stuff going on up here, and Tanty's another one that real life has invaded in a somewhat unpleasant ways sometimes, and he's not been on the server much lately, and I don't know what's going to happen with his area, but you can see he's put in roads and rails. He was big on transportation. There's rails that go all through this area that connect up here. They go into Emma's, and they go off into other places. I just wanted to show you, the house he built for me. Now, this floor is a giant aquarium, and there's like a glass tunnel that you walk through, and you can come up on top here and then look down into it. This is mostly the living area here. There is like a greenhouse level and a stable level. It's like I never have to leave home. It's kind of awesome. So that's another one of the houses that I have to visit if I'm ever out traveling and need a place to stay. So we are going to continue on further west. And here we get to Wicked Fairy's place. Now, Wicked Fairy hasn't been home much lately because she's out building Hogwarts in the southern part of Lechley. But when she first started, she built this little village, and I love this because every house here is actually designed after a house that she has lived in at some point in her life. So it's kind of cool. I like it, and it's really cute. And then she built, you know, this... Actually, you can't see it, and you know, which is just as well. There's a road that goes in here, and there's a place in the mountains, and she had this giant statue of me, which it made me blush so bad the first time I saw it. It was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I got an inkling of what Yorkie felt like when he saw that giant statue we did of him on the desert island. It's like, oh my goodness, you know, you blush, and yeah, so... Anyway, it's in there somewhere. And then she built me, you know, this wee little place. Now, if you haven't seen the recording of this, you should go look, because I have a boom room and my own pool in the basement. At least this is like party freaking central here, okay? I've got like flashing lights on the floor and a bar and in a place for guy to play, you know, a DJ. It's freaking amazing, on top of a palace with a kitchen to die for. Beautiful, beautiful home. So I have another, you know, little place to stay if I'm ever out this way. Now, if I come down the hill and visit Shakespeare's Globe Theater, very, very nice, and I'm just too tired at the end of the play because I was so emotional to get back up the hill to home. Now we have this giant, drop-dead gorgeous inn, and again, I apologize for the roof that's not showing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. I don't understand how the map makes the choices. But this big inn is here, and there is a clock tower, and I have a penthouse suite up by the clock tower. You know, so if I just can't make it up the hill, you know, whatever. So, yeah, and here we have Merry Yule. We have a picture or a sign that went up during the winter frost holiday, you know, just saying, hello everybody, good times. So this is Wicked Fairy's world. Now her world runs right along this mountain range. She wanted to build in the mountains, so she got it. And, you know, whatever is on both sides of that, that's just hers to build at will. And there you go. Now we cross over in bits and pieces here, and we have Architect of Fate. Now you may have remembered some of what he's doing. This right here, when you come out of his portal station, you are walking out of a giant skull of a dragon skull. So it looks really good, and if you want to see that, there are recordings online. You can go check that out. Now this is my garden, again, something built for me from when I'm, you know, over visiting in this part of the world. And this is what he's currently working on. And you know what, this, you know, you come up these massive stairs, there's this huge tree. It is so beautiful. I love the shape of that tree. And then you go into, this is just like the entrance hall, you know, it's just like, I don't know, I guess that's where you hang your coat or something. It's just a room. This place is so big, and it's going to be so much bigger. It's just, yeah, it's good. Very, very pretty. And then he built this right away, this road that goes across here, and he's got this tower. And now this is a covered walkway and train that goes all the way. And again, you may have seen me taking a ride through here during recording. And this goes all the way north. Wow, to getting there. Past this little village generated by the game. Now we kind of have a rule, garden, you know, like temples and the villages that the game has generated, we don't touch them. We leave them as part of the, you know, history and you know, like a historical site or whatever to Quillbriar. So we don't mess with those. We can use them, we can incorporate them into things we're building around, but we leave them alone. So it goes right past that. And this, you will remember, was the Flying Scotsman's first build. He hadn't done a lot of building when he joined us, and the first thing he tackles is an entire village up at the top of trees in survival. There must have been so much death. Oh, I can't even imagine. And I think that one, I think that one is mine. My little cabin has great views. I got to be one of the first ones to pick it, and I know he has built on since I picked that one, so there weren't as many then, but great view of all kinds of things. He's got this big maze in here. This is set out for community gardens so that each of us who want to stay here, we can go down and put our own little plot of garden in, which I think is so charming, and I've got to go do that. It sounds like so much fun. And he was the first one to start building a lot of ships. He built the ships over at the fairgrounds, and he was the one that kind of got us going. And now if you've seen the Whitehall recordings, you see how many ships we actually have, and it's fabulous. But we had Spongy built the first ship, and but none of us could do it. None of us knew how. So Flying Scotsman came in and he started doing them, and then Chrissy and Impact Crater and everybody, and I've made a party raft. I have done a pontoon boat. That is my entire contribution to the marine transportation part of Quillbriar. But I have a cooler stocked, so I'm good. It's cool. So this is a big tower that he's built sitting up on a big old hill here. And now he's got this little village going on, and this is a huge inn, absolutely beautiful. And again, I have a huge penthouse suite in here. If I don't want to stay up in the treehouse, the cute little quaint cabin, I can go over here and just live in luxury while I am visiting Falkirk. So it, very, very, very nice. So fountain in the middle. He's got a little market square going on, and this house, again, the scale here, you're looking up on the hill. It's just beautiful. He had a huge Christmas tree in here during the winter frost season, and presents and lots of fun things. And he's been a little bit busy on this wee little build over here. Now, I'm not even going to tell you what this is, and if you don't know, go look it up. If you don't know what this building is, your cultural education is lacking. Go and find it, okay? Because this is an iconic building known around the world. It has generated no end of interesting jokes, and happenings and occurrences. And it may introduce an entirely new dynamic to the lore and gods and history of Quillbriar. So I don't know where this is going to take us, but it could be interesting. So you may want to keep in track of that. Keep in touch to stay and on score with that. So, yeah, that's a big job. Oh my God, that's a big job. Yeah, and it's so pretty. It is so pretty. So the wife just burst out laughing when she saw the Pope Mobile in the square. Okay, well, there's a clue if you don't know what that building is. That's a pretty darn big clue. That is a huge clue. What is this over here? Oh, that's Emma's. Okay, right. Okay, so there we are. You have seen the south part of Quillbriar and Leckley. You have seen the old world part. You have been into the eastern and the western, and now the last bit we have to do is to head north and show you around up there. So, until I see you next time, remember to leave your comments, hit the like button, please. Live your life happy, and do build it beautiful. Tons and tons and tons of beautiful. See you later. Bye-bye.